The stock market is a complex ecosystem with investors and traders constantly making and losing money. We'll go over the basics of how the market works so that you can get started investing in it with confidence. Nerd Stock Talk is delighted to present to you this fun and informative series entitled From Azeroth to Wall Street, Mastering the Stock Market Like the Class of Your Choice. We are going to compare how well a class performs in DPS and parallel it to how strong a portfolio is and its investment risk. Low risk, low DPS. High risk, high DPS. High DPS without mitigation and utility can also get you killed. All high-risk investments without education and balancing can get you broke. So let's talk Subtlety Rogues. Subtlety Rogues are considered by most to be the best melee DPS in the game. They can do good single target damage, but they shine when it comes to AoE and burst damage. Subtlety Rogues use dual wield daggers, which give them the advantage over other classes in terms of stats. So how do you invest like a Subtlety Rogue? The strengths of a Subtlety Rogue include great AoE, single target efficiency, and melee DPS. Subtlety Rogues shine in their single target DPS. They produce strong levels of sustained single target damage with their stealth tactics and skills. Single target efficiency is the investment equivalent of single stock investing. Investing in a single company simplifies the process of researching and managing your stock investment, whereas another investor might spend time researching companies and deciding how to allocate limited investment money among multiple businesses. Investing in a single company is a faster and easier way to get into the stock market, especially if you know which company you want to invest in ahead of time. As an ongoing investment, your decisions will be limited to how to receive dividends and when to sell, while investors in multiple companies will have many more decisions to make. The pros of holding single stocks. When buying individual stocks, you see reduced fees. You no longer have to pay the fund company an annual management fee for investing your assets. Instead, you pay a fee when you buy the stock and one when you sell it. The rest of the time, there are no additional costs. The longer you hold the stock, the lower your cost of ownership is. Since fees have a big impact on your return, this alone is a good reason to own individual stocks. You understand what you own and when you pick out the stock. You have complete control over what you invest in and when you make that investment. Great AoE. In World of Warcraft, AoE can be used to describe the area of effect abilities. Area of effect is a term used in video games to describe attacks or abilities that affect a large area. The number of targets an ability can affect is called its radius, and the distance between each target and the point where they are all affected is called spread. You can also see some spells have their own unique ways of affecting mobs. Subtlety Rogues have some great AoE skills, like Shuriken Storm and Shadow Strike. With AoE, you're able to spread out your damage, mitigating any risk of pulling threat from the enemy in a raid or a dungeon. This is the investment equivalent of putting money in balanced mutual funds. Diversification is another great benefit of mutual funds. When you invest in a single stock, you're taking on all the risk associated with that company. If something happens to that company, a scandal, market shifts, or competition from new technology, it could negatively impact your investment and could leave you out of luck. But when you diversify your portfolio by investing in a variety of assets and sectors, this risk is greatly reduced. Mutual funds are composed of different types of securities, stocks, bonds, cash, that can be broadly classified into three categories. Equity funds, which are the stocks, debt funds, which are the bonds, And then your money market funds. These provide income through short-term investments in high-quality debt and money market securities like treasury bills while maintaining its liquidity. These are not overly aggressive and safe in the long run, much like the survivability of a subtlety rogue. Melee DPS. Like all other rogues, the Subtlety Rogue is also a melee DPS. Being a melee DPS puts you right up close to the action. Melee DPS is most effective when positioned behind the boss or an ad to avoid having to dodge attacks. However, they can still do significant damage from this position as long as they stay out of the player's range. Also, if you're behind a target and another player hits it with an attack from their melee weapon, you will avoid damage by being out of reach. Because melee is right next to the action, this is an investment equivalent of doing self-directed investing. The pros of self-investing are you control the fund and money. You decide which investments to make. You can invest in things you're passionate about. You can invest in companies you want to support. And you can invest in things you know a lot about. Much like up-close DPS and standing in the enemy's hitbox, the cons of self-investing means you take on all the risk. If something goes wrong with an investment, it's all on you. There is no one else to blame if things go south. So, once again, Subtlety Rogue is a DPS spec that has been around since World of Warcraft's earliest days. It is consistently one of the best DPS roles in the game. So how do you invest like a Subtlety Rogue? Subtlety Rogues are a fun and sneaky melee DPS that have strong AoE damage and single target efficiency. This means you would actively invest on your own in the relative safety of mutual funds paired with some well-investigated single stocks. Much like melee, finding good ones will entail doing homework so you avoid getting one-shotted or getting caught standing in the fire. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more, check out Nerdstock Talk at storycomic.com. There you can find even more resources and information to help you learn the basics of investing through the lens of your favorite class or archetype. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when I post new videos.